If you sell cars, I can only imagine the number of hours you must have spent trying to simply explain PCP, HP and more to customers while obviously meeting FCA regulations. And if you're a car buyer, you might be sitting there wondering what on earth all these acronyms actually mean. But what if I told you there was a way to order a new car that's as easy as ordering a takeaway? Well, we've all got a lot more used to hiring and sharing, from e-scooters to Airbnbs. So what if you could order a car from your phone and swap into something else after a month if you don't like it, or even send it back completely? Well, that's where subscription companies like Onto come into it. They exclusively offer electric vehicles, and they've lent us one for a month to see what it's like. So I'm going to start at the beginning with how you order a car from Onto. It's not quite as easy as ordering a takeaway, as I said before. It does take about 5 minutes, although I've definitely had takeaway orders that took longer, and I can do it from my phone, which is pretty impressive. So I'm going to go to the Onto website, and here it's just asking me to put in my first name, my last name and my mobile telephone number. Pretty simple. Then I get to choose what car I want. So I can have anything from a Volkswagen e-up, Renault Zoe, all the way up to I-Pace, Tesla, various different Teslas, e-tron. And I mean, when we get to the top end, we're looking at £1,299 for a car. At the bottom end, an e-up is still £339 for a car, but we do get a lot included, so we'll talk about that a bit more later. Next up, it wants me to upload some documents, and it's looking for my driving license, which I just need to upload from my phone, and then it wants a selfie of me holding my driving license. And then we get to the final stages. It just wants to find out a little bit more about my driving history, which I don't think you need to know about, and I put some payment details in and wait for an email confirming when my car is going to turn up. Here is what we ordered, the E208 GT. From Onto, this would have cost £469 for the month, which can seem like quite a lot, but you have to remember there's no deposit to put down. You simply pay for the months you use. There's also no insurance to worry about or servicing. It's all included, so it's easy to see why this would be appealing for a lot of people. Subscribing to a car is a little bit different from hiring or buying one too. There are lots of different ways you can do it. You can do it through places like Drover, Kazoo, even Volvo Cars has its own scheme, but this is how it works with Onto. You get a special app, and that switches over when the car is 30 minutes away from your home, showing you exactly how far away your driver is. And although you can order a key if you do go for Onto, I have just got it with the phone app, which allows you to unlock and lock the car. It also shows you things like how many miles you've got left that month. You get 1,000 miles with this, and it will tell you how charged your battery is. When it comes to the actual car, you've got things like a dash cam and a limiter to make sure you're behaving and being very careful on the road. And obviously, because in my case, just all of the key functions are done through the phone, you have to get in and within 60 seconds have to make sure you turn the car on, otherwise you find yourself in an eternal loop of not being able to turn it on and off.
Having an annoying key isn't the only thing that's going to put some drivers off subscription cars. For starters, the cost is going to be too much for some people. And I don't just mean they can't afford it. Let's face it, it's a lot easier to justify paying that much a month when the car is in your name and you actually own it. And as you may have spotted when I was picking my Peugeot, you don't get to choose anything except the make and model. Not even the colour or the wheels, what stereo, or whether it's got heated seats or Bluetooth. They sound like small things, but for some people they are deal breakers. During my time with the car, there has been one thing I've been really impressed with though.
One of the things I've loved about using Onto for the last month is that your charging at certain services comes included. So I don't want to say that you can just go anywhere and charge for free, but if you're like me and you live in a flat and you can't charge at home, your only option really is to charge at places like supermarkets or outside service stations like we are here. This costs me about £10 a week because I have to go to a Genie point, but if you charge at places like Instavolt, BP, Pulse, Chargemaster or Shell with Onto, you can do it for free. So you can see how that's an instant £40 saving a month.
For some people, even the idea of buying an EV right now is completely not the right choice for them. So I wanted to go straight to the top at Onto and find out from Operations Director Rui Ferreira exactly what sort of person wants to subscribe to a car. Hi Rui, thank you for talking to me today. Firstly, can you tell me a bit about what Onto actually is and what people get from it?
Basically, we have a very simple proposition, which is allow people to subscribe to an EV for a period of 1 month. And when I say subscribe, there's a lot of companies talking about subscription out there, but when we use the term subscription, we really do mean a 1 month subscription. So that gives you incredible flexibility. And included in your subscription is the car that you get to use. So it's your personal vehicle for that period. It includes 1,000 miles that you can do per month. It includes insurance, fully comprehensive insurance. It also includes maintenance and servicing of the vehicles. And probably the best feature that we also offer is the fact that you can charge the vehicle for free. So even the electricity is included. We work with BP Pulse, Shell Recharge, InstaVault, and also Tesla Supercharger. So you have over 11,500, it grows every single day, over 11,500 charging locations across the UK.
So why is it important to have subscription cars now? Why is now the right time to be providing that to people?
The fact of the matter is we're at a major shift in terms of going from petrol and diesel vehicles, so ICE vehicles, into electric vehicles. And there are still a number of fears that people have from making that transition. And being able to combine the opportunity to have people to experience an EV with a very small commitment in the end of the day. So I don't have to go out there and commit to a huge deposit and then a big monthly payment for 3 or 4 years. I can go to Onto and I can experience an EV, with only committing in advance for a month. So that is going to help drive the transition of EVs and get people into experiencing an EV.
So your job involves choosing all of the cars that can be subscribed to. What is that like? Is it ever challenging when you go to manufacturers and you tell them you want people to subscribe to their cars rather than buying them?
A lot of fun is what it is, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, it is. Yes, it entails a bit of work. It entails a lot of dialogue and discussion with the vehicle manufacturers, which are, frankly, I think they're all on board with us and they're absolutely loving what we are doing and the fact that we're bringing so many consumers into EVs that otherwise probably wouldn't make the change. But yeah, quite frankly, that's the funnest part of the job, is looking out what new vehicles are coming out, testing those vehicles, identifying what's the right trim, what's the right battery, which one should we get? Oh, let's add alloy wheels on this one. And so while it is work, it's an incredible amount of fun. So not only do we already have 17 cars on the fleet right now, so 17 different models. We're probably going to add another 3 within the next couple of months. I should say weeks, actually. And yeah, so it's amazing. I have the opportunity to talk with people in the industry like Henrik Fisker. We've done an exclusive deal with Fisker, although that's still far, far away. That's 2023. But there's an incredible amount of product coming this way, and that is something that we're very focused on, is making sure that we have the best vehicles that we can capture to give the best possible experience.
You mentioned that 3,000 people are using this service at the moment, but what sort of people actually want to subscribe to a car?
We have a little bit of everything, to be honest. But the vast majority, I would say, if we try to generalize, the vast majority are families, so young families. We have quite an interesting profile, very good demographics. So we have people that are using, I think it's 80% of our consumers actually are families with children. 70% of our consumers are actually using the vehicles to commute and to work. So these are family cars. These are vehicles that consumers are using in their day-to-day life and using on a regular basis.
And importantly, do they actually swap cars? Do they want to change every month, or do they keep the cars for longer?
We do have about 25% of the people swap cars. And to be honest with you, I mean, I know obviously you're also a car fan. I'd be bored to death if I had to drive the same car for 3 years. So yeah, I mean, why not? If you have the ability to be in a car for 6 months, 7 months, and then swap into something else. But I think the other point is that, life happens, right? So the car that may fit my need today may in a year's time not fit my need because I have a baby, or I need to downsize because now we've decided to buy a house. I'll never forget this when we had one member, posting that the neighbors probably think he's a drug dealer because every 3 months he has a brand new different car, right? So what is going on there? Why does this guy have a new car every 3 months? So yeah, I think it's part of the fun. Some people are not into that, so they want to keep a car more stably and stay in a car for a longer period of time. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, I think it's definitely a plus.
And finally, my final question, what do you think is about now that makes people actually think it's okay to subscribe to a car?
I think it's I think it's a couple of things. One is people are very keen on having different experiences. Two, they want to actually own a vehicle, but they don't want to go through the hassle of the ownership. Because the ownership does imply a number of things. So you need to worry about, okay, when does my insurance expire? When is the next MOT? When is my next service due? So all these things in the end of the day is onto, we take care of those for you. You don't have to worry. You just need to drive the vehicle at a certain point in time when a maintenance or a service is due. We'll let you know and we'll book that in for you. So that entire experience, that all the hassle that you have with the ownership, we take it away. Even to the point that we register the vehicles for, EVs don't pay the London congestion charge, but you do have to register the vehicles. So even that is taken care of, right? So I don't have to worry about, joining different charging networks. We offer you 3 included in the package. So the convenience element, I think, is great. And then it's the flexibility. It has to be, what we talked about before, being able to swap. So my life circumstances change and I want to upgrade, I want to downgrade, whatever that may be. And also ultimately, if for whatever reason I do not need a car anymore, I can get out of a car. I don't have to pay a huge fine or penalty with a leasing company for terminating my lease earlier.
So is this the end of car ownership as we know it? Well, I do think ultimately a lot of people will say they'd rather own the metal that they're driving. But with so many people switching at 3 years already, will they see the appeal of switching at 6 months or even after just 1 month? Having driven the Peugeot for just over a month now, I can definitely see the appeal of owning a subscription. If I wanted to change and if I decided I didn't like the Peugeot anymore, then I could really easily do that and someone just brings the car and swaps it on my driveway. If I decided I didn't want to do it anymore, they just take it away. And I can see that would definitely be an appeal for people who are trying out electric cars for the first time. So will subscribing to a car be the next big thing? Well, it might not work for everybody, but I can definitely see it working for a lot, particularly if you're thinking about trying an EV for the first time. This could be a great way to get into one.